Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I go by Am and I make videos about crochet, travel, books, music, and everything in between. And I am so excited to be sharing my second vlog with you guys. I didn't really show my face in the last vlog because I wasn't too sure of how comfortable I was yet with showing my face, but I'm a little more comfortable now. This is a simultaneous face reveal, so hopefully if this is what you like to see, then hit that like button and subscribe. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of just give you guys a little rundown, including some books that I have just started reading. Okay, so the first book I have is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by, I think her name is Coco Melors. But I got this book, and I think I showed you guys the last vlog. I got it from Fireside Books and More. It's basically about a 24-year-old painter. Her name is Cleo, and her kind of impulsive marriage to this older guy named Frank. For some reason, like, it just is very difficult for me to keep up with like all the different kinds of plots, because it's not just about the couple themselves, it's also about the people around them. So I guess I've just been like kind of taking my time and like taking in like each character's story as I go. But that's kind of the way that I'm approaching this book. But I do plan to get it done before the end of June, so we're gonna see about that. Next book I have is more like a self-help book, and I've kind of been like dabbling a little bit in like the self-help realm genre of books lately. Just one of the books that my high school teachers recommended me was Mindset. It's by Carol Dweck, and it's basically about like the differences between like the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, and there's more about that like in this book, but in short that's what it's about. I am really enjoying it so far, and like I just love like all her little anecdotes and like personal stories and like stories from like celebrities who practice like both the fixed and the growth mindset. It was really hard for me to read at first because, like, if I'm being like completely transparent, like I think that I tend to go into like the fixed mindset a little more, and so like a lot of the points she was making like kind of humbled me. It's definitely a hard read, but I love like her honesty. That's Mindset by Carol Dweck. The last book I am reading is kind of popular. It's a classic, and I know like some people have read this in high school. I personally haven't, but it is Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. A lot of people have been like talking about Kafka, like he's always in like literary discourse, and I think when I was in Italy I actually bought like a collection of his short stories, but like I didn't end up reading it because I lost the book somewhere. I've heard so many things about this book and how like creepy and like horrific it is, and if you know anything about me, which you guys probably don't because I haven't really spoken much about like myself in this channel, but if you know anything about me personally, like you know that like I actually really like dabbling into like psychological horror. I know like that sounds really creepy, but I just thought that maybe this would be like a great place to start for Franz Kafka, and also like the storyline has got me hooked. Like I just started reading this like yesterday and I'm like already halfway there. That's Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. So last week I bought quite a bit of books, and I thought it would be nice to show you guys a little haul of everything I got. The first book I have here is Wolfgang Samuel's German Boy, and I picked this up actually on the way to the thrift store in this thing called like a little library. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just like a tiny little library that some people have in front of their houses so that people can get books for free but also give books that they have. The next two books I have are books that I got at the thrift store. One of them is a fiction book and the other one is more of just like an educational kind of book. One of them is Revenge of the Middle-Aged Woman by Elizabeth Buchan, and it's basically the story of a middle-aged woman named Rose, and her challenges of conforming to the standards of being a middle-aged person. The other book I picked up from the thrift store is The Smartest Kids in the World by Amanda Ripley. And this book is basically about the different education systems throughout. I believe she goes into studying Finland and South Korea and how their educational systems differ from the United States education system. The last two books I got were from Half Price Books, which is basically just a secondhand bookstore, but also like for music as well. I picked up two books from here. One of them is Angela Duckworth's Grit. It's basically just a book about the concept of grit and how you can grow and develop grit as you progress in your career, your personal life, any other endeavors that you have. And I thought this book was really interesting just because I'm currently reading Mindset, as you know, by Carol Dweck. And I thought that this would be a really nice book in addition to the whole concept of self-improvement and the way that like your brain kind of grows as you face challenges. The other book I got was Let Me Tell You What I Mean by Joan Didion. And I got this book because I feel like a lot of times when I'm going into literary hubs on the internet, Joan Didion is always being spoken of the same way that I feel like people always bring up Kafka. So I just decided to get a compilation of some short essays that she has just to get a little feel for what she's all about and the way she writes and themes that she has going on. So that's pretty much it for all the books that I got this past week, in addition to the last three that I showed you guys I was reading, and I definitely look forward to getting to these as the summer progresses. I wanted to kind of segue and show you guys some CD albums I've been listening to. I know that some of you guys might think that listening to CDs is a little outdated, but I really love to listen to them because my dad has a CD player in the house, and along with the CD player, he also has a collection of CDs, which I sometimes look through and like to experiment with what kind of albums I like to listen to and what kind of albums I don't like to listen to. The next three albums I want to share with you guys are actually all from the same artist, and they're really special to me because I grew up listening to them because of my dad. But they are the Sundays. I don't know if you can see because of the glare, but yeah, so they are the Sundays. I have Blind, Static and Silence, and Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic. And I've just fallen in love more with the Sundays. Like I said, I grew up listening to them. I came back to listening to them in spring semester of my freshman year of college, and it just brought back a wave of nostalgia that I really liked, and it's kind of stuck with me even through now, and I just can't seem to put their music down no matter what the occasion is. And I really just love listening to them. The next album I have here is actually one that I got myself. My dad owns a bunch of CDs, so these last three are actually his and I'm just borrowing it. But the last CD I actually got for myself, and it is a compilation of Sinatra's songs live in Paris. And the reason why I got this was because it was recorded in Paris, and I've never been to Paris but would really like to go. I really like when some albums are recorded live because you can hear the cheering of the people and just the excitement of the crowd. Actually, one thing I really love about this particular album is that it opens up with an introduction that's entirely in French, and I just think that the French language is so elegant and beautiful, and I would really love to go to France one day and experience French culture, but for now this is the closest thing I have. And yeah. So now that we're officially in the month of June, I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys everything that I've crocheted in the past month of May. I have about 4 items here, including one item that is a non-clothing item. So the first top I have, it was actually my first project after not crocheting for a while. It's the Isla top, and this is on sale on my Depop. She looks like this, and from the back it looks like this. It has a little lace-up detail. I really wanted to experiment with different stitches, and that was kind of the motive behind the way that I designed this top. I specifically chose like a little like seashell detail here, stitching, and I really love like the sandy pink of the top. I think it goes really well with like the summer vibes of this here. I really like the back as well because it's like this cute little lace-up detail, and it's a little flowy mesh kind of bottom. I just really like the way that this top was designed. Next top I have is kind of similar in design, but not entirely. It's the Christy tank top, and this one is also on sale on my Depop. It looks like this from the front. From the back, she looks like this. And I really wanted to make something that was a little more minimalistic for everyday wear. I did want to try making a top with different colors, and that was kind of the inspiration behind this. So the top part of this is green, and the bottom part is like this cream color with like little mesh stitching on it just to make it a little more breathable. The next two tops I have here are baby doll style tops, and I've been loving the baby doll style, especially for summer. It seems to be making kind of a comeback. But the next top I have here is actually one that I wore in my last vlog, and it has to be my absolute favorite. But it's this top here. I don't really have a name, but she looks like this in the front, and in the back it looks a little like this. And I made this using an ombre cotton yarn, and I was so scared that it would turn out really bad because of the color scheme. But I really love how everything kind of blends in together. The last item I have here was actually supposed to be a rendition of the last top I showed you guys, but in blue and white. And I was actually working on this in the last vlog as well. But it looks like this. I don't have a name for it either. I don't know if I'm too pleased with this top, I'm not gonna lie, just because I wanted to make it a little longer, but I didn't have the yarn to do so. But I would say that I'm really loving like this lace-up detail because you can adjust how tight you want it and adjust it to your sizing. I might sell this one on my Depop, but I'm not completely sure just because I feel like there's a lot of flaws with it that I would like to fix before making a top that I would actually sell. The increases that I did on this item turned out really well because it's not too frilly for a baby doll top. And I really like how the stripes turned out. So that's this top. The last item I have to show you guys was actually a whale pouch that I made with a pattern from this YouTuber. I actually gave it to my little sister as a little gift. I don't have it with me right now, but I do have this video to show you guys and these pictures. So that's kind of what mine turned out to look like. And when I usually crochet, it tends to be more of just clothing items because I really like to make crochet wear. But this was really nice, and I love the way that it turned out, especially since I'm not too familiar with the pattern. So that is everything I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I look forward to making more of this content for you guys as we go on with this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching.